Okay, folks, we're having some technical difficulties with Instagram. When I flipped the camera over to face me, it wasn't letting me flip back. So I'm going to start facing the other way, and then I'll come back in a little bit to face the camera. But what we're doing this week is cutting out some stencils on the Cricut. So this here is the Cricut that we have at the tool library. We have an Explorer Air 2. So it's a couple of years old. And basically it works with a cutter and it has a pen attachment as well. So the blade is already in there. This is just the regular blade. And I like to check it every so often to make sure there's no vinyl stuck in it, but it's looking pretty good. So stick that back in there. And they have this kind of double latch, and it won't work unless the items are secure. And basically what this does is this arm moves back and forth, and then these rollers move your material in and out. So it's an XY plotter, and it can cut or it can draw. It only uses their sort of proprietary pens and markers, so it can be a bit limited to what you do in terms of drawing and writing with it. But as you can see over here, it has a number of different pre-made settings that basically affects the pressure of the pen attachment and the knife attachment, so that it's not you're either piercing through things that it's not supposed to, or it's not applying too much pressure with the pen or the marker. So the setting that we'll be using is vinyl, and what it's calibrated for is an adhesive back vinyl, kind of like this. So there's a paper backing that's kind of about the thickness of cardstock, and then a thin vinyl material. I'll just see if I can lift up the corner of this to show you. Doesn't want to lift, but it's basically like a thin, flexible vinyl, and you can get it in different weights and different sort of degrees of adhesive. This is sort of the standard medium tack, and that works pretty well for stencils. So in a couple of weeks, we have a sign making class coming up, where if you sign up, you'll get one of these wood boards, you'll get the paint that you need, a couple of brushes, and then you'll get the stencil and the tape, and I'll walk you through that whole process of how to make one of these signs. This isn't one of the designs, this is just our slogan. So I made this one as sort of a practice go to see how much I need to sand down the wood, and the answer is a lot. But they'll come pre-sanded, so you don't have to worry about that. But basically this was accomplished with a stencil, and then just a couple of colors of paint. And so what I'll do is I'll show you how to get basically the design from a computer to the Cricut itself. And it uses a pretty basic software. Hopefully my screen won't get too flickery, called Design Space. And anybody can sign up for Design Space. You don't need your own login, or you just need to create a login. Sorry. You don't need your own machine to create a login. And we have a couple of things that we're working on right now that I will actually pull up a design from Canva for somebody that's taking the class in a couple of weeks. So I am going to download this design here. And upload it into Design Space. And so you just go to where it says New Project, and then you can go down to where it says Upload and upload an image. And so we have Central Street Rink, which is the design we just put in from Canva. And since it's just 2 colors, you just have to click Simple and then Continue. And right now what you have to do is go in and remove all of the white space, basically. And it just has like a picker tool. And the nice thing here is, like, say I just wanted this skate to be like a silhouette, I could do that. I could make that decision to have this just be a single shape, which I think is actually what the person wants. So then I'm going to go to Continue. And it gives you a chance to check. So I missed a spot in the middle of the R on Rink. So I'll go back and pick that and hit Continue. And it's a cut image for this one. If it was a print then cut, that could be if you were doing something like a vinyl sticker. But since this is just acting as a stencil, we just want a cut image. And go to Upload and click the image that you want and then Insert Image. And then from here you can scale it. There's a bar at the top if you know exactly how big you want to make it. So our board, I think, is 6 by 12. I'm just gonna double check. Yeah. Yeah, 6 by 12. So I want it only about 11 inches wide, and then it'll constrain that proportion for me down to 5.2. I think I'm actually gonna go maybe 10.75, so it's a little bit smaller. And then all you really need to do is go to where it says Make It in the corner. And it'll tell you how big your mat needs to be and how big your piece of vinyl needs to be. And then you just click Continue and it'll ask you to hook up your machine. Plug it in. And then we'll move this over here. So now the machine is plugged in, and I will show you how to get a mat ready. everything that you cut on the Cricut will go on one of these mats, and they have like a slight adhesive to them just to hold on to your material as you're working. And this is the vinyl that we'll be using. It's just like a sort of medium weight adhesive back vinyl. And cut, and you just line it up with the grid on the mat and just lightly sort of smooth it down so that there's no big bubbles. And then we're gonna head over here. Hopefully this tripod does not fall down. So if you check this flashing arrow here, you just need to line the material up under these little white feet and then hit the arrow, and it just sort of holds it in place. So I'll show you what I mean by that. There's these two little feet and then these rollers. So that's now gripped the material in place, and we know that our machine is set to vinyl. Sorry, it's not focused very well. And then the little Cricut button will flash, and then it's just going to do its thing for a couple of minutes. And the nice thing about it is the screen gives you a progress bar. So right now it's at 10%, and you know kind of how long you have to wait for your images. If you're cutting a bunch of things, this is a good time to set up your next mat. If you know you're going to be switching colors, or you just have another piece that doesn't fit on here, that's a good time to do something like that. The nice thing about using the Cricut instead of trying to cut it by hand is you can get some pretty decent detail, and you can use them for more than just stencils. You could use them for like a decal. We have a couple of decals on our window that we cut with the Cricut. You can make like a birthday banner or bunting or that kind of thing. It can cut fabric and some thicker materials as well, and it does have a custom setting. I really hope you can hear me over the sound of the robot, but it's almost done. It's at about 75%, and then I'll show you how to weed it and get it ready to put onto a board as well. It's just finishing up the borders. And so when it's at 100%, that little light will flash again, and you just push it and it releases the mat from the machine. And just want to kind of peel it up gently. We have this like butter knife or like cheese knife, I guess, that you can use to peel the material off. And then you always want to grab your little protective piece of acetate and put that back over so that no like dust or lint or things that aren't supposed to be on there get on, and hang it up. And then just needs to be weeded. So we'll grab a knife. So for this, because it's going on a sign, you'll be using it as a stencil, and you want to cut out or weed out all of the inside pieces. And as I mentioned in last week's video, you're not scoring or like recutting anything. You're just kind of gently slipping your knife under the edge of the vinyl and then peeling it up. And I have another one that I'm going to be working on later during craft night, which is coming up at 6:30. If you're interested in registering still, either just send us a direct message or head to the Eventbrite link in our bio. And at that, I'm going to be cutting out a sign from one of our sponsors, and I'll post a photo of that when it's all done. I realized it was going to take too long for me to lead in the live demo, so rather than keep everybody on the line, I will do that one later when I have a bit more time. And all that's left now is the skate. Ta-da! And sometimes if the sticker pieces come off cleanly, you can put them onto something else. So I usually put them onto like my travel mug or my computer, and then it's just kind of a fun way to like reuse them. So I'll put them onto this pencil cup / old hillside mug. But that is kind of the basics of creating a stencil on the Cricut. And in terms of sort of what to do with this information, the video from last week will show you how to do a print onto a piece of fabric. So we did two demos in last week's video, and if you don't want to sit through the hour-long demo, there is a condensed version on our YouTube channel that does some time-lapsing through some of the more tedious parts. So definitely check that out. This was just a quick live for today. Thanks for tuning in to Make, Do, and Mend. Sorry the beginning of this video got a little bit messed up, but great to see you. Take care.